Welcome to AI Chain Reaction, the podcast where we unpack the incredible world of artificial intelligence and automation. Each week, we're diving deep into the tech that's reshaping our lives, our businesses, and our future. From groundbreaking innovations and the latest industry news to practical strategies on how you can leverage AI automation for growth. We're covering it all. We'll be joined by leading experts, innovators, and thought leaders who are at the forefront of this digital revolution. Are you ready to explore how one small change can set off a massive chain reaction of progress? Then you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome back to AI Chain Reaction, where we explore how small and mid-sized logistics providers can supercharge their operations with AI-powered tools. I'm your host, Devon, and with me is my co-host, Jordan.
Hey everyone, great to be here. I'm glad we're wrapping up this series. We've definitely learned a lot.
Agreed. This has been a really good one. So today, we're just going to go and recap the main lessons from our episodes 1 through 5. We'll answer any listener questions, discuss implementation pitfalls, and give you practical steps for whatever you want to do next. First off, episode 1 was all about real-time visibility and why it matters. Jordan, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So real-time visibility means having the up-to-the-minute updates on your shipments, not just milestone checks. This is critical because customers and partners expect instant information. They want to know where the truck or container is, when it will arrive, and what's happening if there's a delay. Traditional tracking only tells you after a milestone, like in transit or delivered, which can leave big blind spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And with AI, now we can pull data from multiple sources, carrier APIs, GPS trackers, IoT sensors, even drones, you name it, and keep everything synchronized. Just imagine having a live map of all your trucks with instant alerts if one goes off schedule. Now, we talked about how UPS's Orion system uses AI for routing and predictive delivery windows, and how FedEx SenseAware tracks both location and conditions in real time. The result is much higher customer satisfaction with fewer emergencies. Where's my shipment calls? Because you know exactly where everything is in the pipeline at all times.
Exactly. Real-time tracking means you can be proactive instead of reactive. For example, a small drayage carrier might use a GPS and port terminal data to automatically update customers when a container is picked up or dropped off, saving hours of manual calls. Or a regional 3PL could use AI to monitor port gates and trigger an alert at the moment a shipment clears customs. These are the kinds of improvements we highlighted.
Excellent. So then episode 2 was about automating the status checks with AI tools. What did we find out from that, Jordan?
Right. In episode 2, the big idea was to let the software do the heavy lifting. Instead of a person logging into carrier sites or making phone calls, use scripts or no-code tools to check statuses. We talked about platforms like N8N and Make.com. For instance, you can set up a bot that extracts tracking codes in new orders or emails, queries carrier APIs, or even scrapes tracking packages, and then rates the status to a spreadsheet or sends a notification. This cuts out tons of manual work.
Excellent. That's right. The benefit is twofold: less tedious labor and fewer errors. We gave the examples of someone using Appify, which is a web scraping service, to pull 5 different carriers every hour, and then use a bit of AI to normalize the status messages, if it's in transit, if it's delivered, etc. That's going to save them dozens of hours and almost eliminated any missed updates. Another example is using OCR or AI to scan documents like bills of lading. A system could automatically extract all the shipping details from a PDF or from emails and populate your TMS instantly, alerting customers of the new shipment. In fact, some mid-sized 3PLs have done exactly that, scanning BOLs to autofill their database and push live notifications to shippers. Even without a developer, companies can start with the tools they have. For example, you could use a Google Sheet in Zapier. When a new row is added, Zapier could call a carrier API and fill in the status, or Microsoft Power Automate with AI Builder to parse an email. We stress that even the basic ping and parse setup can handle a large portion of common shipments.
In episode 3, this was our deep dive into AI agents for monitoring and maintenance. These are like digital assistants keeping an eye on everything. Think of them as co-pilots. An AI agent might constantly check that your tracking integrations are working. If a carrier portal changes its layout and your scraper breaks, the agent could detect missing fields or login errors and notify you instantly. Or it could try an alternative method, like email parsing if the web scrape fails. We also talk about using AI to scan carrier emails or EDI messages. You can have an agent read those and feed updates into your system automatically.
Nice. We even touched on the chatbot style agents as well. Picture asking a GPT-4 powered assistant, what shipments are delayed today? And then getting a human friendly summary. Shipment 123 is delayed in Chicago, expected tomorrow morning. Big companies are experimenting with that already. Even smaller firms can prototype it with OpenAI, API, or similar tools. It's just a glimpse of the future of shipment tracking.
And in episode 4, this was about integrating updates with your dashboards and alerts. Collecting data isn't enough if it just lives in a silo.
Exactly. You need to push information out to people. We suggested linking these updates to tools your team already has and your customers already have in use. For example, set up a Slack channel where critical shipment alerts get posted, or use Twilio to send SMS updates to drivers or customers. You could build a simple web dashboard using Google Maps API to pin current truck locations. We also mentioned having automated email or text digests for routine updates. The goal is when the data changes, the relevant person is notified without manual effort.
And be smart about it. Not everything needs a loud alarm. We recommended separate alert levels. Maybe only major delays or deliveries trigger customer messages, while normal checkpoint updates just go into an internal log or summary email. Some companies even let customers subscribe to the level of detail that they want.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Jordan. So then episode 5 focused on scaling, ROI, and the future prep. Once you've had success in one area, how do you expand that?
Good question. We talk about building on a pilot. For instance, start with your highest volume lane or most important customer. Track the metrics. Did customer inquiries drop? How many hours did dispatch save? These numbers make the ROI case. And one hypothetical we mentioned, a mid-sized drayage carrier automated 80% of status updates with AI, freeing dispatcher time for exception handling. That kind of win justifies taking it to the next carrier or region. And plan for growth. If your volume spikes, make sure your system can handle more data. You might go from a simple script to a cloud function or dedicated service. Also measure the benefits: fewer claims, faster invoicing, higher on-time performance. We noted that being proactive can even lower cost, like avoiding detention charges by catching delays early.
Yeah, and we also encourage thinking about the next innovations. Remember, this isn't the end. We mentioned things like predictive ETAs, using historical data, weather, traffic feeds to forecast delays before they even happen, and even automating claims processing after a disruption. Those will be topics for future episodes. So we got some great listener questions in our mailbag as well. One common question: what is the easiest way to start? Jordan, what's your thoughts?
Great question. Start very small and specific. Pick one shipment lane, one favorite carrier, or one part of your business to pilot. Use the simplest tool you can. For example, you might begin by automating just the PDF receipts from one carrier, then add another next week. A practical tip here: try a no-code approach first. Tools like Zapier have shipment tracking automations ready to go. Even a shared spreadsheet with a built-in lookup can improve the concept quickly. The key is to solve one piece of pain and learn from it, rather than trying to decide everything at once.
Yeah, that's super good advice. And from a similar note, do I need a developer to do this? The answer is not necessarily. Many small and mid-sized companies don't even have in-house devs, but they still can get started. No-code and low-code tools can handle a lot. You could also hire a freelance developer just to set up the first version, or work with somebody like Winters AI Solutions. It might be cheaper than you think, even given the setups like multi-carrier tracking platforms, etc. Although those can be pricey for a DIY approach. Even basic scripting, Python, etc., can be outsourced or done by tech-savvy employees. It doesn't take a lot.
Another question we got is, how do I make sure updates don't break? This is about maintenance. First, always plan for monitoring. If you use an API, handle errors gracefully. If you scrape a website, include checks, like, does this page still have a shipment table? And check for alerts as well. We suggest sending yourself a daily or weekly health check report on your tracking system. Think of it like backup. If something goes wrong, you want to know before a customer calls. Also, prefer official APIs when you can. Since websites change often, when scraping is the only option, document your scrapers well and check them regularly. Set calendar reminders to review key integrations, especially if a carrier announced an update. We also talked about having fallbacks. For example, if a web login fails, the system could try reading that carrier's emails or trigger a manual alert. Testing is important too. Whenever a carrier says, "We updated our site," test the workflow again. It's an ongoing effort here. but by monitoring closely and having backups, you minimize the downtime.
Yeah, excellent. And regarding alerts, remember not to spam people. Tune your triggers carefully. Some customers only want alerts for delays or arrivals, not every scan, not every message. So set up the thresholds like an alert if ETA changes by more than 2 hours. Also consider digest emails or portal view for routine updates and use instant alerts sparingly. So let's talk about some of the common pitfalls and challenges you might face and practical ways that you can handle them. One challenge is portal changes, which we just mentioned. Carriers often redesign their tracking pages. To mitigate this, make sure to build your automation so that it's as resilient as possible. Use APIs or platforms that can maintain carrier connectors. If you're coding scrapers, build in error detection and stay ready to tweak them. Some companies even use AI vision tools to adapt to small layout changes.
Right? And another issue is messy data. Carriers label things inconsistently, and data can be incomplete. The solution is to normalize data on your end. For example, create a lookup table or database that maps various carrier statuses and location names into your standard fields. You can also use AI here. Feed different status messages into an NLP model to classify them. Data cleaning is key. Drop duplicates, fill missing pieces, maybe by cross-referencing another source, and verify addresses. That way, your dashboard and alerts are based on clean, consistent info. A third pitfall is over-alerting. Too many notifications will annoy everyone. Fix this by setting intelligent filters. For instance, only alert on exceptions or big changes. Use grouping. Send one alert per day per shipment or aggregate ship updates on a summary email. We recommended letting users customize what they get. And internally, consider an escalation matrix. Some alerts go to a dispatcher first, who decides if the customer needs to know. It's about finding the right balance so that alerts are actionable instead of noise.
Excellent. Yeah, in general, mitigate these issues with ongoing monitoring and just a bit of redundancy. For example, run critical updates on a schedule and have logs. If something stops, have a fallback alert and don't rely on a single tool. Sometimes having two different data sources, like an API plus an email scrape, this will catch some gaps if one fails. So now as we close, here are some final practical recommendations. First, pick one specific use case to pilot. It could be one busy route, one important customer, or one type of freight. For that scope, set up the AI tracking in a focused way. Keep it narrow to start.
And use what you got. If you already have a TMS or a BI dashboard, try integrating there first. Even adding a Google Sheet or Slack channel can be testbed. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress here. A working prototype that covers half your shipments is better than nothing. And you can always iterate. And then measure success. Decide on a key metric, maybe the number of calls reduced or the percentage of shipments with automated updates. Track it before and after. If you can show automated tracking reduced phone inquiries by 40%, that's huge.
Definitely. And then involve your people too. Talk to the dispatchers and customer service reps. They can often tell you which data source is the most reliable or which status update the customers really care about. If they see the system's working, they're going to contribute ideas and help fix issues.
Also, get your customers or partners about this change. Let them know. Hey, now can you track your shipments on our portal or get text alerts? That way, they know where to look and see the value. And finally, think of it as a journey, not a one-time project. As you expand AI tracking to more lanes, you'll learn and refine. Maybe down the line, you'll add predictive ETAs or automated claims initiation. This is the first big step. Make it count and then build on it.
Excellent. All right, team. I think we're almost out of time here. So any final thoughts?
Just to thank our listeners for sticking with us through the series. If you have any more questions or stories to share, we'd love to hear them. We might even do a listener mailbag episode soon. And remember, AI for shipment tracking isn't a one-time project. It's about continuously making your process smarter and smoother. What seems futuristic now will soon be the standard.
Speaking of the future, in our next miniseries, we're going to dig into even more advanced topics like predictive ETAs, automated claims filings, maybe even AI-driven route optimization. If those buzzwords pique your interest, stay tuned. Thanks for listening. We hope you found this series helpful. If you enjoyed it, share it with your colleagues and come back for our next show. Until then, keep trucking and keep innovating.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of AI Chain Reaction. Thank you so much for tuning in and exploring the incredible world of AI and automation with us. We hope today's discussion sparked some new ideas and gave you valuable insights into how these technologies are shaping our future. Don't let the conversation stop here. What was your biggest takeaway from this episode? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. For more resources and to learn how AI automation can transform your business, visit us at wintersAIsolutions.com. Thanks again for being part of our community. Until next time, keep innovating and stay curious.